This story is about the love and sacrifice of a couple, Della and James. In the exposition of the story, we see the wife Della doing grocery carefully and counting the remaining amount that was $1.87. That was not enough, not at all, to buy a gift for her husband, which she had been planning for a number of days because it was Christmas the next day. She came back home with a heavy heart and burst into tears. We get to know in the exposition that the couple is so poor. Their apartment was cutting a sorry figure. Jim couldn't afford luxurious life with his meager salary. Soon, when she was quieter, she kept on thinking what to do. She stood by the window and pondered over how can she manage to buy a wonderful gift for her love. Suddenly, she moved towards the mirror and pulled down her hair. Ah, what an idea she had in her mind! But she felt a little uneasy, as she knew there were only two belongings which the couple loved. One was Jim's watch, and the other Dalla's hair. They couldn't imagine their lives without them. They had the utmost love for those two possessions. She looked at her beautiful hair, which felt like a cascade. Della was nervous, a bit worried, but she had no other option. She had made up her mind. In the rising action we see, she put up her coat and brown hat and went to the parlor of Mrs. Sofrani. She sold her beautiful hair for $20. She took the money, moved from one shop to another to buy a gift for Jim. At last, she got a gold chain for Jim's watch. She kept on imagining how Jim would appreciate it. She looked herself in the mirror. She was looking like a schoolboy, but she was expecting different reactions from Jim. What if he didn't like her? The dinner was ready. She heard the footsteps of Jim in the hall and got pale. She kept on praying. He looked at Della strangely, but she couldn't get his expression, which made her afraid. She started justifying what she did. She started explaining why did she sell her hair, how much anxious she was to buy him a Christmas gift. On the other hand, Jim behaved as if he couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't imagine Della would have cut her hair, and Della kept on justifying that her hair grows fast. Jim gave her something tied in a paper to assure her why he was behaving strangely like that. When she opened the paper, there were combs, which she once longed to own but couldn't because they were costly. She had tears in her eyes, but reassured Jim that her hair grows fast. Then she quickly showed Jim his gift. As soon as Jim saw the chain, he sat down and smiled. Do you know why? Because he sold his watch to get her combs. At the end, they lost their belongings, but the selfless love they had for each other would stay with them forever. precious than those two belongings.